Now, autumn and winter means we have to make sure we get the best nutrition to ward off all those dreaded winter colds and bugs avoided. But sometimes, no matter how well we eat, we still need supplements. And here to tell us all about that today, from Boots Pharmacy, we have Susan O'Dwyer.
That's right, but before we chat to Susan, we've all laid low by those winter bugs and we've been attacked by them. So we went on to the streets of Cork and asked some people there how they were put out of action by colds and flus. Let's take a look.
Yeah, sure. I've been kind of knocked, down by a common cold, and I just couldn't get out of bed, just lack of energy, really.
Well, yes, I was. A few years ago, when I was at work, I didn't look after myself. I got a cold. It developed into a chest infection, which became quite serious, and was hospitalised for pneumonia. And I did miss a work event because of that. So if I had looked after myself with my vitamin C, I wouldn't have been in that position.
It has happened, and particularly at the moment I have a bit of a cold, but fortunately, I made my way into work. It's quite important to me, and my boss is standing behind there.
I've had bronchitis, and I was supposed to go to the Arden Islands for a set dancing weekend, but wasn't able to.
Susan, no Iron Islands for that poor man, but it is that time of year, isn't it?
It is, yeah. It's a time to be looking after yourself. Colds and flus are about, so you want to just keep the immune system working well.
Okay. Let's take a look when we talk about different vitamins. Of course, Susan, I know you will probably say that, we try and get most of our vitamins from our foods if possible.
Yeah.
What are the key vitamins that we need to fight bugs?
At this time of year, you want to be thinking about vitamin C, zinc, selenium. Some of those vitamins are really important for the functioning of the immune system, so they'll keep that immune system ticking over well.
And who are kind of at risk, if you like?
I guess if you're not getting it from your diet, so things like vitamin C, you're looking at citrus fruits, you're looking at peppers, you're looking at things like that. If you don't eat a lot of red meat, things like iron are also quite good, just in terms of getting your blood cells going, making sure you have enough hemoglobin and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, and if you don't eat a lot of meat, as you say, you could get a lot of iron from green veg as well, can't you?
Yeah, so if you want to get your iron from green veg, like things like spinach, there's a lot of iron in it, but it's hard to absorb it, so you need the vitamin C as well. So maybe if you have, peppers on the side with the salad if you're having your spinach. So then you'll be able to absorb that iron a little bit better.
And pregnant women as well, of course, iron is very important,
Absolutely,
especially in the second trimester and onwards.
Yeah, you're looking after yourself, but you're also looking after the baby as well. So things like iron, vitamin D, they're quite important when you're pregnant, because pregnant women can actually be quite low. Well, actually, we can all be quite low in vitamin D, because particularly in Ireland, just with our latitude, with the type of sunshine that we get, vitamin D primarily you get from the sunshine. So you need to be out and about getting that sun, but the sun that we have in the winter, you just can't formulate the vitamin D.
Anyone in Ireland got vitamin D last year, or the last 12 months. Not one single.
You do keep
person.
needing to top it up, don't you? And vitamin D, the spotlight has been put on the vitamin D as much as vitamin C, and maybe more. Some medical professionals believe now that we need it more to fight bugs.
Yeah, it's particularly important for your bones, but for keeping yourself well and healthy as well. But you can get, like in its extreme form, you could get rickets, but softening of bones. So it's really important for your bone function. And it's so important that now they're saying that all kids between birth and up to 12 months should get a daily supplement of vitamin D.
Yeah. Actually, it's funny, I was reading a report there recently about Australia that, of course, Australia, the sun is so strong and the ozone layer and all that, that people were putting so much factor, like 50 plus on their children, that rickets returned.
Right,
Well, this is it, you see. And if you think of very young infants, you don't really want to be exposing their skin to the sun, so therefore they can't get the vitamin D because it's not really in very many foods at all. Some of our foods are fortified with vitamin D, so that's
like
a source.
Cereals and stuff.
Exactly,
But
if
the real
you're
source is the sun, really.
This is it. Yeah.
Now, as we said earlier on, you can take as much food as you want, but you still may not be getting all the stuff you need. So what have you got here?
Yeah, you see, you mightn't have a healthy, balanced diet. So I suppose in its simplest form, things like vitamin C and zinc. So these are like an effervescent tablet. You just dissolve in water. You can take one a day. You can get them as tablets as well, or something that has maybe a little bit more in it. So it's more of a multivitamin. So it'll have the likes of your vitamin C, your zinc, your selenium is also very good for your immune system as well.
Okay, why selenium?
Yeah. Selenium is one of those nutrients that just helps your body fight off things like, when you need antioxidants and you want to stop kind of inflammatory process, so it helps your cells fight, I suppose, immune responses.
Okay, so you might get them in like pumpkin seeds, I think, selenium and different ones like that. Is it certain kind of seeds like that?
Yeah.
Okay, and then you've got the next box beside that. Is that a similar immune type
so
multivitamin?
these are just different types of immune vitamins, I suppose. So these are, again, a multivitamin. I suppose the important thing with these is just to bear in mind, if you're taking different medication, if you're mixing and matching vitamins, that mightn't be necessarily recommended because there'd be a safe upper limit to vitamins.
Okay.
So you need to just check with your pharmacist, check with your doctor, and just see if you are on another medication, should you be taking it, or what's the combinations of vitamins that are safe to take together.
You have a lot of different diets floating around the place, as you do,
Yeah.
all year round, not even this time of year. People who go dairy-free and stuff like that
Yeah.
as well. And these people should really be listening to this, shouldn't they?
Yeah, because things like red meat are really good sources of, like we say, iron, but also even, if you're excluding things like that, if you're excluding dairy, you might be missing out on vitamin A. So it just depends. Where are the sources of vitamins in your food? And if you can't eat those sources for whatever reason, if you choose not to, then maybe think about supplementation
Okay.
in that
So
situation.
vitamin A, I mean, where would you get that mostly from? I mean, I know liver is probably, but not everyone wants to eat
Liver
liver.
is one of the biggest
Yeah,
ones,
it is.
yeah. And your dairy is actually quite strong in
Okay.
vitamin A as well. So if you remove dairy from your diet, you might actually be a little bit lacking in vitamin A.
Don't you have to be careful, though, taking too much vitamin A if you're pregnant?
I was about to say, particularly if you're pregnant, yes, you
Yeah.
need to be careful. So if you're eating a balanced diet, you don't necessarily need to be overly worried, but you wouldn't want to be eating loads of liver, pate, that kind
Yeah.
of thing, because too much vitamin A can be harmful. Vitamin A, D, E, and K are all stored in fat, so they remain in your body. They're not kind of excreted as maybe some of the
like the
B
vitamin C.
vitamins, vitamin
Yeah,
C
there
that
was,
will
great.
just.
Let's talk a little bit about the baby vitamin. You've got vitamin D there, and the
Yeah.
importance of vitamin D in infants.
Yeah, so there's a national recommendation actually now that from birth up to 12 months, every baby would have vitamin D. So like we said, because their skin is very sensitive, we don't want to be exposing them to the sun, but also because they're going through a huge amount of growth through that time period. So we recommend that a supplement, whether you're breastfed or formula fed, and it depends on the supplement. So that's just an example. It's in a liquid form, just contains vitamin D, and you just need 2 drops a day.
It's nice and sweet as well.
depending on the depending on the product.
You can put that through a drop of water for them as well and stuff.
Generally, you just put the 2 drops
in
into
their
the
mouth.
mouth,
Yeah,
and
that's
there
it.
you go.
That's
Yeah.
particularly good one
Yeah,
was the
we-
dropper.
we have
yeah,
that one at
I
home
know
as
where
well.
the the
Yeah.
dropper is very handy.
But
to
it is
put
so
in.
important. Rita started it the first week that
Oh
we
yeah,
landed.
totally. I still actually, I don't know, when a child comes to about 2 or heading into the winter, they can take a multivitamin liquid
Yeah, they
as
can
well.
still take. I mean, it's still
They can still
safe to
take
take
that.
vitamin D as they get older, and even adults.
Anytime I hear of vitamin A or D, I always remember hypervitaminosis. Remember from home economics?
Oh, yeah,
That
that's
if
true.
you
There you
take,
go.
if you take
Too
too
much.
much of it,
Yeah, well, it's yeah, that, like
hypervitaminosis.
fat
Too much can be as bad as too little as well, you know.
So be
Yeah.
careful. So thank you very much.
you very much.
As
No bother.
always, that's great.